Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun.
Good morning, everybody. Oh man, I am like getting sick. My throat does not feel very good. And, you know, I haven't really had much of a chance to talk this morning yet. So I'm just starting here talking. I'm like, oh man, my voice, I'm going to have to save my voice here. I'm not going to be able to talk like the whole stream. But let's go check the charts out. Where are we? There we are. Okay, so there was some attempts yesterday to kind of dig the treasuries out of this crazy hole that we created with the election. Some pretty aggressive moves up, but you know, they've still got some pretty big hurdles to overcome on the upside if they're gonna do that. S&P 500, man, so they're extending the gains that they had from yesterday in the overnight session. Oil coming back a little bit, but you know, just kind of moderating there, I'd say. Gold and silver, well, gold is actually kind of bouncing back. Are we getting a reversal there? Well, let's see how far back it comes. That could be really interesting. Also, we're seeing copper come back. So some of the moves that we did get on election day are reversing, and I do really wonder if the treasuries might be one of those. That's kind of the bet that I've been making. And then the 6J. You know what? Every time that I see this, I see 6J and I think January 6th. Ugh, they've ingrained it into my brain, man. Anyways, you can also see this one kind of slightly coming back, but not too big of a deal. And then Bitcoin holding its gains pretty strongly. Probably if you thought that Donald Trump was going to win, the best play was to go long Bitcoin. Seems like that was the case to me. Okay, it seems to me that a child came in and moved my camera, so I'm gonna fix that. That's better. Let me just tilt it a little bit. All right, guys. Raymond, good morning. 007, did you sleep good? I'm gonna say no. I fell asleep pretty quickly, but I think I was getting a fever overnight because I remember like snuggling up really hard next to my wife and like feeling cold the whole time. So that probably means I had a fever. So I'm probably feverish. I mean, I feel okay right now. You can definitely, I mean, you can tell my voice is not the same. It's way, yeah, it's just not a very well one. Oh man. And something gross just came out of me. Coughing it up there. Well, that feels better. Yeah, this is gonna be one of those days. But you know, I don't have to say a lot. We can have one of those days where we just kind of sit here and look at it. Why do you ask me, do you eat a healthy diet? I caught a cold from the children. I mean, I do eat a pretty healthy diet. I don't think I'm eating as well as I would like to. You know, I would like to like have an avocado every day and yada yada, but I can't afford that right now, so. Send a private message on Discord with the screen. Oh, yeah, I do see that. Let's see here. Let's see here. He asks, if I have specifically enabled the data pipe, I get a number of CSV files. Do I need all of them? That's quite a lot to go through. Also, could you explain what each column represents? The first one is the date, the second is the time, the third is the instrument, the fourth is the exchange, and the fourth is bid ask. This indicates what happens to the price at that level, up or down. How do I read this? Okay, so yes, so you're getting a different CSV file for every indicator that you put on. Okay, so you, in the screenshot that you showed me, you have the data pipe on, but you also have largest resting orders, level 2 changes, market order imbalance, and resting orders. You have all of the indicators on your chart somewhere. Yeah. So for doing stuff like you're going to put it into SQL or something like that, you probably only need the data pipe, right? The other ones are basically, hey, here's this indicator and it's outputting the data's values that it's calculated for that indicator. You could reconstruct all of those indicators from the data pipe. So the data that you really need to save is the data pipe one. Now, what are the columns that it outputs? That's the question, huh? So I guess I kind of need to write some documentation for that piece because I haven't done so yet, huh? But I think I can pull that really easily here. So what you should get is well, let me open one up, huh? Ninja Trader 8. Oh, actually saved. There we go. Got saved. And then let's see here. I have a data pipeline. Here's the one from a few days ago. I'm just going to open up with Notepad. It doesn't output the columns, does it? Maybe I should tell it to do that. Okay, so the first thing is the time. The second thing is the instrument. It's not the exchange. It's just the instrument. ZN 1224 Globex, it adds that to it, but that's part of the instrument. The next thing is what kind of an update it is. So this is saying it's a change to the bids or it's a change to the asks. There's also last, okay? So if it's the bid / asks, then you're going to get these first two, which is going to be the price that it happened at and the actual change. And then let's see here, price, volume, if type equals ask. So then these other ones are going to be when you get a last one, there you go, then you're going to get the current bid, the current ask, the price that it actually executed at, and the amount of volume that it was. Basically, it's all of the information that gets passed to you by the on-market depth or the on-market depth columns. So I probably need to update that to spit out the columns, is what we should do. Let's come in and make a note. Where's our new shell? No. output column names. There also does appear to be, oh, by the way, what happened here? Huh. There is a bug. How are cross markets even possible where the bid price is above the ask price? So I don't think that technically it is. But you could get like a data aberration where you've gotten one update that, you know, the bid has moved up or whatever the deal is, and you haven't gotten the corresponding update on the ask yet. And so to you, it appears that it's crossed, when if you were to look on the exchange, it wouldn't be. Because, you know, if there is a bid above the ask or whatever, those should immediately convert into market orders and get matched. Right? So, but there's this whole thing about that, you know, the way that the data updates come to you can kind of not be 100% in the correct order all the time. So, you know, there can be strange little aberrations that come in that you kind of have to address. Man, it's just gone. How did that happen? That's pretty crazy. So I had all these indicators on this chart, and then I think what happened is I started NinjaTrader up, and then I closed it really quickly, and like all of my indicators on ZN have come off. It's done it on my other one too. I kind of don't want to spend all of the effort adding stuff back on. Okay, let's do this one. So this one is inventory cost basis. And we also want spread. And we also want cumulative delta. Okay. Oh, maybe we want spread up there like that. Yeah, okay. Then over here on this one, I'm going to add data pipe, largest resting order. Actually, no. Let's start with level 2 changes, resting orders, market order imbalance, largest resting orders. And this market order and imbalance should be 30 minute. Okay. I know what you're feeling when your data doesn't come back auto. Yeah, there could be something wrong. But given that it removed everything off of both charts, kind of makes me think that it had more to do with some bug in NinjaTrader where I restarted things too quickly. Do you think there's any alpha in tracking them? They seem to be correlated with instantaneous volatility. I'd be really skeptical about whether there could really be any alpha tracking them. Just because, especially for a retail trader, because the issue is going to be it's only going to happen when the market is really fast, right? It's going to be in markets where you probably don't have a very good edge, right? So. Okay, so 007 had a good question there. Let's, sometimes Discord does this weird thing where I've read a comment, but it doesn't mark it as read. I got that one done. Okay, so, we were gonna do a poll today, right? Let's do that. Well, I'm gonna close this first of all. I don't really need that open. Don't really need that open. Okay. Yes, this one right here. Okay. New poll. Start a poll. What should Seth do next? The YOLO trade equity indexes. Backtest momentum strategies. Make a trading platform in Rust, or indicators versus zero charts. Start poll. All right. So if you haven't been around, forgot. I think that pretty much all you guys here have been around. But if you forgot, we kind of want to switch things up just a little bit to keep things interesting and fresh for me. That's something that helps me psychologically speaking. There needs to be novelty and variety. So the 4 ideas that we've kind of narrowed it down to are YOLO trade equity indexes, which is something that we've done before, but I haven't really been like degenerate about it. We would be degenerate about it. Okay. Backtest momentum strategies. This is something that we've kind of gotten into, but I haven't really gone super wild with it. But we could spend a lot more time backtesting some momentum strategies and learning about that to create our own fund. Next, we could make our own platform in Rust. I do have a lot more time, so maybe I could be spending more time programming, learning Rust, and creating my own trading platform. I don't think that it would replace like Jigsaw. I would want to make something that kind of can sit alongside Jigsaw and complement it. But there are a lot of things like certain statistical tools and features that I don't see in mainstream platforms that I think I could make in my own platform that would be really competitive. So it's just that I think that making a platform like that would take several years. But while I'm between jobs right now, we have the time we could focus on that. And then the last one is indicators for zero charts. That is a request that people make all the time. I don't know how many of you there actually are, but there are some of you out there that would really like to have my indicators, but have them in Sierra charts. So I don't know, the one of the things is that I've never really done the back testing in Sierra charts. And a really big component of my indicators is making it back testable. So I don't know if they have, would be as interesting in Sierra charts, but there are some of these things that you really would, like the inventory cost basis in particular. I think that there's a lot of you guys who would love to have that for Sierra charts. So those are the 4 that you can vote on. And we'll leave that poll open pretty much all day. So far, the 3 of you have voted, and you've all voted for something different. So we'll see if one of them really clearly comes out as a winner or not. Now, there's a couple of other things that I kind of put on this list that are there's some things that I can do, but are kind of actually, maybe we should be doing that anyways. So we're going to continue to watch the treasuries here, no matter what. We are going to make more videos. I wrote a video for the election yesterday. I was planning on recording it today, but I kind of feel like with my voice that I shouldn't record it today. But maybe I can get it done over the weekend. I was planning on releasing this other video, but you know, I don't know. It's timely. It's a timely video, so I would like to put it out in the next week. But it don't necessarily have to, because it will still be timely up until January. You know, when Donald Trump actually takes office. But I was pretty happy with what I had written, and I just sat down and started typing and blasted out the whole script. I want to, when it comes to content, you know, I have a couple of these videos that I want to get through here right away. Which I think is mostly that one. Where is that? Over here. Videos, planned videos right here. So I've got these two more that I've kind of started. One is about funded trading programs, and one is for intuition. I also got videos about influencer red flags and kind of trader mistakes. I've already made a trader mistakes video, but this one was kind of a different set. These trader mistakes were like, okay, when you're trading, what are kind of like the mistakes that you tend to make? Like, you know, you double down or you hold on to a position longer than you think, and how do you deal with those, right? This video is kind of more like, where do you put your time and attention, and ways that retail traders waste their time. Like, I think that spending too much time trying to pass funded trader programs is probably the most common trader mistake that people make. They focus everything on trying to match the performance requirements of the combine, when really what they should be doing is looking at, you know, what are the things that I can't do on the combine that would be profitable, that the combine is keeping me from doing, right? Anyways, so those are kind of like the videos that I have started. And then I have a bunch more that are kind of like on the short list. I think how much do you need to day trade? That's a video that tends to do well on YouTube. People have asked me to do more videos about C#, videos that are like the basics of using NinjaTrader, because you know, my NinjaTrader videos have done really, really well. But once I get these more, you know, these other videos out, I think I'm going to start focusing more on, interviews, like a podcast format interview sort of a thing. Maybe that means showing up on other people's interviews. Maybe I should, you know, there was this guy. I should look at that. Cause you know, like, one of the things is that I'm really hesitant, I guess you could say, about like who I want to support and all of these sorts of things, because I don't want to get involved with somebody that's, you know, like basically committing fraud. Because it's really common in the influencer space in particular, or people that just don't really know what they're doing, you know? And so it's rare that I come across somebody that I really think matches my values and that I feel like I can collaborate with, at least like other YouTubers. But there was that guy, what was it, Andre Simi, and he had done some interviews with some other traders that were really good. And when we were watching it, I was like, oh, they must be like watching my channel, because it feels like they're saying a lot of the things that I'm saying. Maybe I should go and talk to them, because, you know, what are our values? Integrity, excellence, teamwork, and health. I think health is kind of, but that's kind of more personal value. Where's the teamwork? Well, we got the teamwork here on the stream. I think we got a pretty good deal going on here, but I kind of feel like that I'm not as much of a team player as I should be. Like, I should be, I should be collaborating with people more, you know? You say the last video he put out is not so good? Oh, man. Really? Let's see if I can find it again. He's not a huge channel either, but also is he French? 5 things I stole from trading champions. Your vibe is better. Well, I appreciate it, but I'm just saying, like, hey, you know, I need to be getting out there more. Oh, is it Italian? Maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. It's Italian. I just, you know, like, one of the things that I'm seeing is, like, the podcast circuit seems to be, like, one of the key ways that people build their brand and their influence. And I haven't really done much with that. So I'm kind of sitting here like, you know what, Seth? You do the Ninja Trader live stream from time to time. I haven't seen too much come from that, but I do enjoy doing it. I should really work to be collaborating with people. I don't know who they would be. Yeah, I love Fat Cat. You know what? I tell you what, belligerent. I really like Fat Cat as a person. He seems like a good guy. I really don't like his content. And it's not that I really don't like his content, like he says stuff that's incorrect. I do have a video coming that I kind of feel is a response to a video that he made, but I'm not contradicting what he said in the video. I'm kind of saying, well, what he said is true, but you're also missing something else that's really important. And I think you're kind of missing it because you're so focused on ES. But the reason I don't like his content is because it's like an hour-long video to not say a whole lot. So I'm really, like, curious, like, what it is that gets you guys to sit down and watch one of his videos all the way through, because yeah, his knowledge is trapped in his brain. Like, one of the things that I think I've been able to do that I think would really complement a lot of these guys that are, you know, I think are well-meaning at the very least, right? Is that because we have relied so much on empirical evidence, we've really been able to create a framework to explain what's going on and do so in a really dense manner. Because what kind of happens is you go into a particular issue and it's like, well, we experienced this. What is the deal with that? And it becomes all about, like, your personal experience, right? Like, that's what Fat Cat's doing, I think, for the most part, is he's kind of relating his personal experience. And because it's like a personal thing, it kind of turns into like a person-to-person conversation that ends up being like 90 minutes long, even though he's not really presenting a whole lot of new information. But once we've created a framework that really explains it empirically, then you really kind of are gifted with a framework that allows you to convey a large amount of information to people very quickly. And that's why my videos end up being so information dense. And on top of that, I don't just, like record it and wing it. I actually write a script out, edit the video down, really make sure that I'm, creating the most engaging content for YouTube, right? So, but, I would be willing to talk to Fat Cat, for instance. It seems to me like that's something that you guys would enjoy, because there's a lot of you guys that watch him, apparently. I'm still like, what? Man, your videos are just too long. But you know what? Like if he was here and I said that to him, I think he would understand. He'd be like, yeah, I'm kind of long-winded. I understand that it's not your thing. But probably. Right? The key thing to me is, like, are they pushing a narrative that is utterly false, or they are doing things that are like fraudulent, right? So like I give you an example of somebody that probably should be on a short list to collaborate with, but I'm not interested. Is man, should I really be like bashing people like this? I don't know. Well, I kind of already started, so now I kind of have to finish it, don't I? Imam trading, because I appreciate the things that he's done in kind of exposing the whole ICT smart money concepts field as basically a scam. But what he does is he shoots down the influencer, and then he uses the methods himself. And he makes money from the trading combine links. So I'm kind of like, well, I don't think Fat Cat has these, but I'm kind of like, if they have affiliate links for trading combines, I'm significantly less likely to work with them, I don't think he has them. Maybe he does.
What is up?
Maybe he does. Let's look.
What?
Well, he has the affiliate link for Jigsaw, so that's cool. It's all exclusive content at Coffee. Oh, that's interesting. So he's made like oh, how come it doesn't take me to like his page though? And that you should fix that link. Okay. But I don't see anything problematic. There was one guy that wanted to collaborate, and I thought he was actually really interesting, and his content was really interesting, but he had testimonial. He was selling stuff really hard, and he had performance-based testimonials on his website. Big no. Maybe if you took them off, maybe I come back and be like, okay, maybe we can work. But I think that with the interviews, that's kind of me like, you know what? I want to be on their channel. Actually, not I interview them on this channel. Who else I want to talk to be honest with you? I want to talk to, well, there's two guys. One I guess would be Matt. I kind of feel like that Matt's got a lot of good things going, but he has a couple of ideas about the way that the markets are working and everything that kind of destroy him. But because I think that he's well-meaning, at the very least. I think he's well-meaning. He doesn't understand where his past successes come from. He thinks that, he's reading the price action, and his read of the price action is really accurate and all of that. I think that the truth is that he's really good at taking on excessive risk, and he's done well with the excessive risk. But the caveat to that is that eventually you kind of blow up. So if you're going to be the excessive risk taker, there's kind of some things that you gotta take. Which one are you talking about? You've been in his Discord for years, Fat Cat, maybe? I don't know. I think that this is kind of like a maybe in a month sort of a thing. But I am kind of like, yeah, we need to know. I think that I can share some information with these people that would help them. I need to be a better team player, guys. It's just like, I'm so concerned about tethering myself to somebody that's, does something not kosher, let's say. Maybe I'm too concerned about that. So we're going to do, on my channel, the people that I want to have in for interviews on my channel, I want to be researchers. And I've got a short list of researchers. Let's just see if we can get them on. Researchers and or professional traders. There's at least one guy that's a professional trader that I'd really like to see as well. But I think before I reach out to him, I need to watch more of his podcast content. Man, I got a lot of stuff that I can be doing. Wait, so do I not have that on my to-do list right here? to do. Listen to podcast content for potential collaborations. Some of this is kind of turned into not current. Current is like stuff that I should be doing today. That's what I should probably be doing today. This one right here, like down time oscillators. So this is like, hey, let's make an oscillator that tells you what, not what day of the month it is, because you kind of have that information with your time series, but like how many trading days into the month are we? Or how many trading days away from the last day of the month are we? So that you can do things like, on the last day of the month, do you tend to buy? Does it tend to move up or down, or whatever, right? These are sort of things that are like based in time that we would want to create like I'm calling it an oscillator that would help you find aberrations in the order flow based on the time of the month and these regular kind of moves. I think that's a component that we need to include into any kind of machine learning sort of framework that we make. So that's one that I kind of have on the list. What's the name of that big time HFT whistleblower? That'd make for a great interview. I'm not sure I know who you're talking about, Belligerent. When you talk about HFT whistleblower, no, I don't know any whistleblowers. For some reason, I'm thinking about Navinder. You know, somebody that I would really like to interview is Navinder. I think that he would be really interesting. You know, when it happened, I was really down on him. I was like, you know what you're doing? You did something illegal. You deserve it. But the more that I've read about it, the more I really feel for him. It really was like he had an edge, and then all of these algorithms came in and started screwing with him. And he, you know, what are you going to do in that situation? He fought back. Well, maybe you shouldn't have done that. I probably wouldn't have done that, but I totally understand it now. Did he? Does he have a book? Well, I think there is a book about him. But I don't know. I'm more interested in talking to Navinder because it's like he is like the last great market maker if you think about it. Navinder is, you know, this is kind of like in the mode of Gary Norton. How was he kind of working it? Was he using correlations and what were the sorts of things that he really looked? I really want to dig into it more. It seems to me like it's a strategy that doesn't work anymore, but I really want to know, you know, what he thought, how he did stuff. That's what I want to hear about. I think that he would be kind of, you know, it sounds like he's kind of quiet, wants to keep to himself. I'm not really that interested. I mean, maybe if he would be okay with talking about it, I'd love to talk about how, you know, he gave a lot of money to basically like hedge funds that ran with the money, supposedly. But we don't need to talk about those things. And one of the things that I'm trying to do with my interviews, I am not like a journalist or anything like that. So it doesn't help me or you guys or any of our content to try and make like gotcha interviews, go and dig into the deep issues and ask people probing questions. You know, like I want the people that I interview to know what's coming so that they can think about it ahead of time and get, you know, come up with the best answer. So I kind of work with them, you know, here's the questions that I'm going to ask. Are there some things that you would like to talk about or that I should add? And, you know, I kind of work with them on that. Read Flash Dress, they talk about where he'd put his money in the software he had written in TT for his trade. Well, that's interesting. Because, you know, it sounded like he was kind of doing a really tedious style of market making that, you know, we would be really interested in knowing more about. Time to reset. It looks like we are getting a pretty good uptrend here this morning. So that's nice. The guy that wrote it for him got in trouble too? Really? Okay, but this Haim Bodek, I don't know who that is. Haimbodek. Developer. SEC. He's a developer of trading software. He worked for a whole trading company, which was acquired by Goldman Sachs in 1999. He became global head of volatility trading at UBS by 2006. Wow, he goes back. He goes back. When his software started losing money in 2009, he tracked the cause to an undocumented order type, which was being used by other algorithmic trading companies to gain an advantage over other traders. He exposed the situation in a complaint in 2011, which resulted in Bats paying a record $14 million fine. In the 2013 documentary film, The Wall Street Code, recounts Bodek's investigation of the illicit trading strategies. Wait, is this strategy the one where they put most of the message on the exchange, but they don't complete it, so that all you have to do is send like one byte for the order to come in? Maybe we can get more information here. Do I have a video? Do I have a interview? I do. There we go. Oh, yeah. That's interesting. Bodek. Okay, we'll add him on there. You need to be like, oh, actually, what I need to do is I need to do no. I'm proud of myself that I was able to remember the key binding to duplicate cursors and do a duplicated cursors without having to think about it. And who else were we talking about? Hide, not slide order types. There you go. And I'm trying to remember the name of the guy on. Maybe we could get Joey on here. That would be really interesting to me. And maybe Laszlo is another one that I probably put on there. I don't know how you pronounce, how you say that, how you spell this guy's name. Sragner. I'm giving you my list of other people that I watched that you probably have never heard of before, or shouldn't be showing this to you. Too late now. There's a bunch of people that I follow on LinkedIn that are people that could maybe. Ah, yes. There we go. See, I got a long list of people that I could interview. I could probably just spend multiple years just interviewing people and never making videos. But we need to go back here now to our to-do list. Yes. Hide not slide order types. And these are the ones that this guy, that's what he exposed, was hide not slide order types. Okay. What I'm reading here does kind of sound like what I was talking about. Basically, so I don't know if this is what they're talking about, but basically what you do is they were taking advantage of an oddity in like the actual like TCP/IP protocol. So like you can come in and you can send a message, and you send a message that's like your order, but there's a little bit at the end that's basically like, okay, this is the end of the message. And what you would do is you would send the order in, and it would have all of the information, but you wouldn't complete sending it. You wouldn't send that last little bit. And what happened was the trading systems, in terms of like when to prioritize you, and you know, like what time was your order sent, and or what time was your order received, and ergo, you know, if a bunch of people all buy at once, who's the first person that ended up buying? Well, they would use when you first sent that order as the time that your order was sent, and not when you finished it, when you sent the end of it. So basically you could send this order, it'd be sitting on the exchange, and then when you wanted to execute, all you had to do was send that one little byte, and you basically got prioritized in the queue. And eventually they decided, oh, this is not okay, and they did all of this stuff to prevent you from doing that. And this hide not slide does sound very much like that. And I'm not really seeing anybody go into detail about what they actually were, but it does kind of sound like that's what they're doing. I don't know what we would be able to glean from speaking to a person like that, though. Kind of the question is, what can we as retail traders learn from this person? Because most of the people that I'm going to want to talk to are not retail traders, and are probably going to tell you, you shouldn't day trade. I bet you that almost all these people that I would interview would say don't day trade. So, but I'll put them on the list. You can look it up again sometime. All right, so where are we on our voting? Okay, so we got 11 votes right now. Backtesting momentum strategies is winning. Oh, okay. I just want hidden arcane knowledge. Belligerent, you can be careful with that. You got to be careful with that, First thing, you want to learn the hidden knowledges of arcane magic, and next thing you know, you're sprouting extra legs and your dick disappears. Beware the call of Zinch. I really don't think it's worth it. I really don't think that becoming one of Zinch's minions is worth it. It distorts your body. There are some things I've learned, because I'm one of those people that are curious, man. I'm one of those people that are curious. I want to know everything. But I have learned in my life, there are some things that you're better off not knowing. There are some things that are hidden for a reason, and you're probably not ready for it. What is this I'm talking about? We haven't really talked much about the election. Maybe we should not talk about it at all. But, I was saying yesterday, we are going to talk about it. I was saying yesterday, when people have their entire worldview shattered, they do really interesting things. I've never been able to glean like a really consistent pattern. Like you'd want to think, oh, but everybody does this. Now, it's like a certain portion of people do this, a certain portion of people do this. There's a certain portion of people that will just live in denial and just will never get it and never admit that they're wrong and change their view. And what I'm seeing on social media right now, and I made a TikTok about this yesterday just because I was kind of frustrated by listening to people. I was like, well, only like 300 people will view it, but it's worth it for 300 people. They're like doubling down on some of these crazy things that they said. To me, it's really simple. It's really simple. Why is it that the Democrat Party is really struggling? Well, they are not able to connect with working class voters because they don't have any credibility among working class voters anymore. And a lot of people will point to, oh, you're too condescending to them and all of these sorts of things. Well, that's all true, but that's kind of a secondary effect. Really, what it comes down to is you've adopted a policy platform that objectively hurts a certain section of America. And really, what is that policy platform? There's really three key legs. Like, these are, like, to me, the three key legs of the America First platform. It is open borders, China, and government corruption, right? You look at what were the things that kind of pushed Donald Trump over into becoming a Republican and running and all of that. It was open border policies, trade with China, and government corruption. Those are the three things. And the Democrat Party has basically adopted these positions. Like, it is so crazy to me. Open borders. That's the hill that you're going to die on? Is open borders? Really? Okay, whatever. And then what happens is people come out and they say, hey, these open border policies objectively hurt me in my community. My community cannot deal with the influx of people. Our infrastructure cannot deal with the influx of people. These people are providing competition to other low-wage workers in my area and hurting their ability to make a living. And when you say all of these things, the liberals come in and say, no, that's racist. Well, okay. That's why things are the way they are. And it's really simple. Like, that's the craziest thing about it, is that, like, the Democrat Party could fix this so easily and just absolutely dominate electoral politics. All you got to do is give up on the open border policies. That's really as simple as it is. Give up on the open border policies. At least claim that you're going to try and do something about the trade balance. You know, that's all they would have to do, and they would probably win every election. But no, open borders is the hill that they're going to die on. Huh. That's what I've been seeing going on. And it's so crazy to me to try and watch so many different people try and explain away what's going on when it's so simple and obvious what's going on to me. I'm sure we'll get some more interesting analysis as things go along. I would really like to know, how is it that Joe Biden got 20 million more votes last time and then they didn't show up for him this time? Like, can I go in by county level and find where those votes came from? And, you know, what were the laws that were different in 2020 that made that difference? Because I've always been of the opinion that they made changes that shouldn't have been legal to ballot access that changed the election, changed the rules, and Republicans weren't up on the rule changes and to take advantage of them. That's my thinking. Because you look at it, like, Republicans voted early and all, you know, they really put a lot of effort into that, but I'm not sure that made any difference and was really necessary. Anyways, I do see on Zero Hedge, one of their top videos is radical left activates anti-Trump protests as AOC riles up rioters. I'm sure that we are going to see some protests and so forth, and some possible political violence. Oh, so there's a FOMC. You know what? I would like to do the FOMC meeting today, but I don't feel very good. You know, I don't want to talk all day. I'm usually really, really exhausted after an FOMC day. There is a little bit of work I want to be doing here, so yeah. Well, that's all I'm seeing here on Reddit in terms of stories and so forth. AO saying the new 9800X3D is fire. I've seen a lot of videos about the new processor, yeah. Well, Intel put out a new processor and everybody was like, it's very good. But then I haven't really watched the videos yet, but like from the thumbnails and everything, it sounds like it's good. Maybe I should look into that a little bit more. It kind of seems to me that if you go for the last generation CPUs, like the AM4 motherboard platform CPUs, like, you can get really good deals right now. What's this Elon Musk is saying? Gad, sad, every single dreadful parasitic idea that is destroying the West stems from academia. It begins there, but then these ideas escape the ivory tower and parasitize everything. And Elon says academia and some think tanks are the origin of the extinctionist mind viruses. You know, I look at the I was kind of having this rant in my mind yesterday because I saw a economist who really, this particular economist really fought hard for Kamala Harris. They really wanted Harris in there. And it was driving me nuts because, you know, they were saying all of these things that weren't like necessarily wrong economically, but kind of pointless. like going on about how how bad across the board tariffs would be. Yeah, it would be bad, but it's not going to happen. So the president doesn't have the ability to do that. So why are you talking about it? But at the same time, I see this economist and many other economists say things about markets that are just objectively wrong. And what's happening is there is some orthodoxy that the economists are not willing to give up, even though they're well-proven falsehoods now at this point. Markets are not efficient. Investors are not perfectly rational. We live in a world of bounded rationality, which means we want to make good, optimal, rational decisions, but most people aren't sophisticated enough to do that. So we often kind of rely on shortcuts, heuristics, and so forth to do things. And you have a lot of systems that are really, really complicated and chaotic. And so there's this whole field of study where we kind of generate these models to simulate individual peoples and their behaviors and then see how they all interact together in a computer simulation. And that can be a much more effective way of predicting certain dynamics in an economy. And the economists are just completely ignoring this because it's not, they ignore it. They don't say, oh, it's wrong. It's just they ignore it. They're not interested in it. It's not popular because it's too against the grain. So the economists are essentially facing the same problem that everything in academia are, where progress has been stalled because there is too much entrenched ideology and people with tenure and so forth. It's interesting to me that that's one of the places that Elon Musk is really, really going hardcore about now. Coughing hurts, man. ES could reach 6,000? Oh, sure. I mean, we're only a hop skipping away. Yeah. I'm more interested in my trade over here in the treasuries, but... Ginger is good for reducing inflammation. You get that thing where you cough and all of the little droplets that come out when you cough are like needles into the back of your throat. That's what I'm getting right now. I just want to curl back up in bed next to my wife and sleep. I need to get the kids to bed early enough. There she was, they didn't get to bed until pretty late. And it them six snuggles. Those are some of the best snuggles. Okay, another detailed. Does YouTube not let you write that long enough comment? Well, it doesn't let you post a picture. Okay, explain to me the last column, what it means. NA, remove neutral. Yeah, so showing these last things. So when you get a level 2 update, let me go here. If we go to Ninja Trader, Ninja Script, help guides. On market depth. Okay, so here is the on market depth event that happens in Ninja Trader. And it gives you a market depth event arcs. So what does the information that it pops in there for you? Instrument, market data type, whether it's bid or an ask. Operation represents the action you should take when building a level 2 book. Possible values are add, update, remove. So it's basically like, okay, there was an update at, 10:00 half. And if that's like at 10, then like we just ticked up and that's like a new level that comes in, then you have to add a new element into your dictionary where you're kind of tracking these things. And then down here, this other one would be removed because it's too far away, right? And then everything in between would just be an update. So when you're building the order book yourself, you have to have these three things to know what to do, essentially. So that's basically what that's about. And the NA basically means that particular property doesn't matter for that data point, right? So here on this one, like the first one is the price. The second one is the bid, right? Then there's these other ones that are like the price that there was an execution at and the amount of volume that came through, I think it is. And those ones are only relevant for when the type is last instead of ask. Bid or ask. There's bid, ask, there's last. The ones that are last will have those NAs filled in, and then there are these other properties, these last two, will have NA in them instead. Right? One of the changes I think I need to make. Oh, do I not? Do I have this written down? Options for data pipe. Like maybe you're only interested in the level 2 stuff. Okay. We could make something so that you can like turn off certain types of updates if you want. Ginger Ale has mild analgesic properties. I don't know. I'm kind of at the point where like I don't really feel like I have to do a whole lot other than rest. Like it didn't work out yesterday. Because I find that when I'm sick and I work out, I get so much more sick. Thanks. Yeah, that's what I'm here for. I'm honestly 007. I am like so static that you're interested in this and that you're, doing all that work to understand, because that it really helps me out to see the things that are like, okay, we need more documentation, right? Like it shows me where all of the kind of the holes in what I've given you guys is, because I'm not going to be very good at knowing what you guys know, the things that I know that you guys don't, right? Yep, updating you on the go, exactly. And that's kind of how we done it, is I'll put something out, give it to a couple of you guys that are like the most active with it to beta test, and, sort out what's going on, fix all of the problems, document everything correctly. Yes, sir. Now you can go back to bed. Am I going to be allowed to go back to bed? See, can you see like the gears in my head kind of turning? Like, I want to go back to bed and lay down, but I don't want to just do it by myself because I'll probably be cold. So I need my wife to come in and snuggle with me so we can take a big long nap. But I can't do that because the toddlers will be awake. So what I need to do is somehow offload the toddlers onto somebody else so that I can have the snuggles. That's and a long nap. Hmm. 007 says, I don't want to look in your head too many years, if you haven't noticed, I find how people think to be a really fascinating subject. And how do I think is different from other people? And why does it lead people to make certain kinds of decisions and stuff like that? That's really, really fascinating to me. Why are the people that are super in support of Kamala Harris? Why? What is it, the ways of thinking and everything else that kind of leads them to that? I feel, it's kind of weird to me because a lot of people seem to not know. They're like, how could anybody vote for Donald Trump? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he's the one that's saying that we need to stop open border policies, fix trade with China, and address government corruption. Those are the three things that are bothering people. And he's the only one that's saying, right? You go to the Democrats, they're like, no, we should have open borders. It's really important, it's really, open borders are really good. That's what they say. It's just, that's all it is to them. And then everything else is just, okay, if this hurts me, I stand up and say something about it, and then you call me racist. It's like, then it just kind of pisses people off, right? Like, they don't like being told, hey, you're wrong. This actually doesn't hurt you. You're just racist. No, I'm pretty sure that when your town is being overrun with illegal immigrants and none of your services can pay for it, and those are your tax dollars going to that, it's objectively harmful to you. Don't tell me to sit down and shut up. Yeah. It's that simple. That's I don't think that's that hard to understand, the typical Trump voter, and yet everybody's having a hard time understanding it. What's with that? Stats brain, a little bit more difficult to sort out because you kind of have to understand this thing about thinkings and systems, where you have two kind of different systems in your mind. One of them is an intuitive system that really kind of decides things on instinct, and another one is a more of a deep thinking. And you kind of will default to one of those two systems for certain types of problems based on whether they're good at those things or not. But most people will tend to default to that intuitive system. And what's unique about Seth is that for the longest time, he's been on medications that kind of force you into those deeper thinking systems, those more analytical, logical systems, but was still able to develop the intuitive systems as well. So which of those systems I decide that I naturally use at any given time is really different from most people, right? Like this, how is it that there's 20 million more votes for Democrats last election than this election. Where did those all go? Is there fraud, something like that? And most people, they're going to use the intuitive system and they're going to say, well, probably there was fraud involved, right? But I start to engage the more analytical parts, and I'm like, okay, well, like, can we go down county by county and find out, which counties, where were the differences, where did they come from, and look at all of the different changes to election laws in those places, sort out, because, it doesn't really make sense to me that you make 20 million votes out of nowhere. So it's probably more likely that it had something to do with, like, changes to the election rules and everything that they had last time around. It seems like we should be able to do a study about this. I bet you that people will do studies about this, like where the difference came from. But bet you they will, right? Most people don't think of it that way at first. I do. I'm weird. The Hill is out with a new story. Peace through strength or World War Trump. Oh boy. Yeah, what's happening is everybody's starting to go, okay, what are they going to do about Ukraine? Oh, here we go, folks. Kremlin spokesman Peskov, we remember Trump's words that he would propose something to resolve the Ukraine crisis. Okay. We're so close to that 110 even. You think we can get it? Makes me want to go and look at my... oh my gosh. I'm starting to lose it, folks. Starting to lose it in my mind. I can't think of... TLT. I want to go look at my TLT. That's what I want to do. Boom, 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 boom. It is up 1.47%. That's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's crazy to think about that portfolio, because in my mind, it's about 8,000 right now. In my mind, it came from nowhere. Because part of it was the shares that were gifted to me when I worked for Goldman. And part of it was like the pandemic. I put the money that we got from the while everybody else went and bought TVs, I put it into the stock market. And, I never really put my own money in it. So it's just like crazy to me that it's like that much now. When it's 10,000, then it'll really start to be like, wow, Seth, good job. Proud of myself on that one. And this TLT position so far is going pretty good. Who knows, maybe the Federal Reserve meeting will be like hawkish and like treasuries will sell off really hard and then it won't be looking so good. But right now, I'm feeling pretty smart. Right now, I'm feeling pretty smart about it. I was wondering if Uzi was there. I'm like, where? Oh, he did say something earlier. He's just been quieter today. You know what the other thing I need to do? Because right now, it's close. It looks like YOLO Trade Equity Indexes is up by one vote. Backtest Momentum Strategies. I don't know what the status of my Norgate subscription is. I did that. I bought it one time. I bought the shortest subscription that I could. And I don't know when it expired. I think it expired, but I don't actually know when or anything. So let's look that up. Okay, I have to search around for... Been bouncing around today? Yeah. Is there anything interesting going around? I kind of feel like that, other than reacting to the reaction, kind of feel like that everything that could be said has been said now. You know? Just running errands and stuff? Oh, I gotcha. Maybe I didn't use this. Maybe I used Proton Mail for it. You haven't had a moment to just sit down? See, we were just talking about, I just want to go back to bed. Like I would really like to stream the, it'd be a little bit more free to stream the Federal Reserve meeting and everything, but I'm so sick today that I don't think I'm going to. There we go. Oh, maybe I still have it. Okay. Okay. We are good until December 3rd. Let's do it.
Block by.
I don't know. Right now, you guys are slightly favoring the YOLO trade equity index. I think you're allowed to change your vote. How's trading bonds? I'd say it's going pretty good. I haven't taken any scalps day trades, but I did recently take what I'm going to call a swing long position on TLT. It's looking pretty okay right now. So earlier I was kind of like, it seems like that they should be able to get to the 110 evens okay. But now they're doing this thing again. And you know what? I've seen it do this a lot lately where when you have a point like that, like there's an even number and it seems like they should be able to get to it, but they're kind of having a hard time. And then they do get to it. They stop through it really hard. Why TLT? Because I wanted to do a longer term position. I wanted to do a longer term position. Something that I could hold for a couple of months. So, doing it in futures with my small accounts in futures didn't really make much sense. And I had some money in my, what we're going to call a mad money account that's been there for a really long time in just sitting in cash. I was like, okay, let's do something with it. I might have to turn around and sell some of it at some point if, we get too deep in there. We go too long without a new job, then I'm going to have to dig into those funds. But for now, we're looking okay. I kind of wonder because I had a number of interviews that I thought were going pretty okay. And I didn't hear anything. Well, yesterday, I'm kind of like, well, we shouldn't. I guess we should expect to not hear anything yesterday. But every day that goes further, I'm kind of like, I don't think I'm getting that one. There's this one company that I interviewed for. that like the position itself felt like a better match. Some of the people that I was talking to, I liked more. But they basically gave me an IQ test. Basically gave me an IQ test. I wasn't expecting it to be an IQ test. I probably should have approached it differently. Like, I remember doing these things where it's like, they'll show you these pictures like, complete the pattern. And I can look at it and I'm like, well, it seems like there's something about this one. I can't put a finger on it, but it seems wrong about this one. So I think it's going to be this one. But then I'm sit down and like, okay, but what actually is the pattern? And like double check myself, right? And then you don't get through all of the questions. So like I should have just said, okay, here's intuition. I'm going to do them and see how far we get, right? But it really bothered me that they were basically giving me an IQ test. That really bothered me. So maybe I don't want that one. I told you to get away from scalping stress, no money, ROI, not that much to sacrifice time and health. Swing. Well, you know, this was a situation where I felt pretty good about it going on the upside, so I think I probably could have taken a trade. I think I've gotten a little bit too comfortable and, well, we don't always take a trade sort of a thing. I probably should be more active than I am. But whatever. I kind of don't want to YOLO trade equity indexes. But you know what? We can do both. You know what? Honestly, I think the reason that I set this poll up was because I was thinking, should I spend some time building my own platform? Because I was thinking like, okay, in terms of like, what are some things that I could do that would generate revenue or that, I could make a living at? Turn this into more of a living? Building a platform in Rust is one of the ones that I think I could do. You know, like I could set up a platform, sell it for $1,000 a pop. You know, I'd only have to sell a few of them every month, and that would be good income. And I do think that I can make a product that's better than the products that are out there. It's just, there's so much work involved. How long would it take me to get to a point where I could actually sell it to you guys, right? So it would depend on how interested you guys were in it. Like if you were really, really interested in it, and I had like, oh, there's like a dozen people that, you know, as soon as I put out a beta version of it, they're going to buy it, then like it would totally make sense to do it, right? So that was kind of why I wanted to do the poll. You guys are more interested in the backtesting momentum strategies and YOLOing equity indexes. Which is kind of interesting. I mean, we can YOLO in equity. We can do both, right? So this is the thing. We can do both. We can just come in here and start doing YOLO trades and equity indexes every day. I don't know how I'm going to go about it, but Rust is not that good in building web and desktop apps. Their frameworks. Yeah, no, it's true. You're totally right, Amen. You're totally right. So there's a couple of reasons why I want to go with Rust. And maybe Rust is not the right path. Maybe it should be C++. But, you know, you want to have something that's performant, that deals with the memory correctly, and is really fault tolerant. And I think that Rust kind of does that. And, you know, I want it to be like a more modern platform. Another part, though, is that I think one of the key features that I would have in such a system is that the plugins, I want the plugins and everything to be able to be written in Python. So like I could be like, you could write it in Rust, but I also want to provide the bindings in Python. You know, like in NinjaTrader, you know, there's like the chart and you don't really see any of the code for that, but then there is code for an SMA. You're not supposed to change it, but they show you the code for the SMA so that you can use it as an example for your own coding, right? And that's the part that I want to have written in Python. It seems curious to me that like the whole quant world is really, really, really wedded to Python right now. And basically, none of the really key retail trading software platforms use Python. That's weird. That's an opportunity, I think. And Rust has some really good ways to interface with Python. I don't know if it's better than C++, so I guess that's maybe not a reason to use Rust over C++. I guess I'm just interested in using Rust. But you are correct that the frameworks are not as mature. I think that you can get it done, but like, there's a lot of complications involved with it. Now, another choice you could have is Zig. But Rust, Zig, or C++? I don't know. Like, the thing is if I was going to put, I guess part of it is if I'm going to put that much effort into something, I'd be way more interested in doing it in Rust. You know, I've made things like that in C++ before. I'm not a C++ expert, but, you know, that would be pretty good experience. And so it's like, would I rather build up the experience in C++ or in Rust? And I see, well, I don't know. I guess I'm a little bit torn because I don't think C++ is going anywhere, you know? But I do kind of see more of a future in Rust. I guess one of your other options could be Golang. So normally by this time, with talking and everything, it like really clear the vocal cords up and all of that, but it's not. I think that they're just really swollen, and it's gonna be like this all day. I should just lay down in bed all day. I guess another thing, choosing a language for project is a long story. Yeah. Well, and you know, another thing with Rust is that like their frameworks are not as mature, but they do exist. You know, I would be able to just pick one and run with it. And there was like one particular problem that I was having with Rust, but they fixed it. And so like I can totally do it. I totally know what to do. Okay, so the app that we would be making would be a trading application. And trading platform. So the two main features of the trading platform that I would make would be, one, that the scripting would be done in Python. So if people are making custom indicators or they're making strategies, it's written natively in Python. And that means that you can interface it with all of the crazy machine learning and other frameworks that are available within Python. That's the really big opportunity that I see. Then there's a couple of little features in there that, you know, I don't really feel like are there in other platforms that I think I could do better. Cross-trading, well, NinjaTrader has cross-trading now, so, but at the time it didn't, and I was like, that would be a big thing. Another one is synthetic instruments. So like we can create a spread, but then like if you want to run this indicator on it or that in, it's kind of becomes a messy, complicated thing. It'd be better if you could just make a chart that is the spread and it handles, the charts handle that natively instead. Quote board. I would really like to have a quote board where, like, you know, I can come into Jigsaw and I can like right click and it recenters all of my DOMs. I would like to have a quote board that does that too. So like my market analyzer here, you know, when I come in and I reset it, of course I want net change on the day, but there'd be another column that would be like the net change since the last reset. So I can reset things and then see how all of the different assets have moved since I did the reset. That's the recenter. Colored quote, you know, these are all kind of market analyzer things. Correlation fields. So like NinjaTrader has like an FX correlation thing, but like not really fully featured the way that I think people want. So I think that you could show people a lot more information about correlations. Right. There's also some indicators and so forth that I would think should be a part of a platform like that aren't, like co-integration. I haven't seen a platform with the co-integration, and I've written one, but that's typically not done. Yeah, anyways. It's just, and then there's just kind of like every step of the way, like, oh, you know, I don't have it written in here, but, caching data, caching and managing of historical data, including level 2, including market depth, right? I want something that like allows me to pop up all of the data that I have and manage it, and even have different parts in different places and things like that, right? So basically, you'd get a platform that has all of these indicators that I have in NinjaTrader that I feel like should be a part of NinjaTrader, and they are not. And it would handle the historical data and everything so that you can really do a deep dive on things that most retail traders can't backtest. And it would provide you with the advanced statistical tools that these other platforms lack as well. So that's what I think would make the platform unique. Because basically what I see is you kind of have to take a step into the future with the statistical analysis and all of those sorts of things to really find an edge as a retail trader. And the existing platforms are not up to the task. So that's why I want to make one. So that's the idea with it. I also wanted to know, you know, how many people actually are there that they want the adhere charts, but I think it's actually one or two of you. And I'm going to leave it at the whole thing. So we got an hour left. You can change your mind. Maybe you're like, you know what? I don't really want to do, you know, YOLO equity indexes. I'm going to change my vote to backtest momentum strategies to make sure that that one wins so that we can just focus on that instead of having to do both. Now, from the YOLO trading equity indexes side, I kind of have to think about how I would go about doing that one. Like, what would the kind of the setup that I'd want to do? How much risk reward should I be going for? That sort of a thing. The other issue with my being sick is that it's starting to make my muscles hurt. Man, I need to just keep talking. It keeps it clear and the inflammation down. Probably will go and make myself some ginger tea, though. Ginger herbal tea. You need a team? You mean like if I was going to create my own platform, I would need a whole team? You're probably right. Like, this is something that I think I could probably have a team of 4 people and we could spend a year or 2 years building the first version of it. Yes. Especially if it was going to be in Rust, because I don't have existing experience with Rust. You know, I wish I knew some guy that was like an investor that'd be like, oh, I really like that idea. Let's start a company. Right? Because it kind of seems like something we could start a company with, you know, like at the very least, like I kind of want to work with Sierra charts a little bit because maybe in the future we make our indicators with it. But there are some things about Sierra charts sometimes that I'm like, you know what? I think I could run a better business. I need to go to like, what is it, meetup.com? That's where I would do the kind of business networking where I would be able to find people that would be able to help me start a company like that, you know? Oh, they have a Lock Sport Enthusiasts meetup now. Tonight. Oh, I'd like to go to that. Except for that. I'm sick. What's this? There's some news. You know, I used to like visit meetup every week and then I was like not going, so kind of like stopped doing it. But now I'm coming back and I'm like, oh, this is interesting. This is interesting. What is this? Oh, well, I don't know what that's. It says remix, so is it for producers? But maybe it's not. No, this is for some other weird technology that they've got. Let's see. Maybe I'm not interested in it. There you go. Co-founder networking. Find a business partner. Yeah, it looks like the local scene is a little bit better. It used to be that like you could search for like networking or something, and like everything that would pop up was people trying to do real estate investing, which is, you know, like basically a pyramid scheme. Clavia says might be out topic, but just, and then there's not. Did you try posting a link or something? Because I wouldn't be able to see that. You don't think trading platform niche is already saturated? You know what? I don't. Like, well, you know, I guess let's not say that it's already saturated. Like, there are a lot of platforms, okay? What I see is a niche where critical tools are missing in pretty much every platform out there. So it's not that there's no competition. There's a lot of competition. I think I could beat them all. I think that we'd be able to put features in there that would beat all of the other existing platforms. Because none of these platforms are really focused on being able to do statistical analysis. I just joined a chat and I am Transitioning from chart trading to the DOM, and I'm watching videos and talking with other DOM traders like John Grady. I've noticed many recommend Jigsaw. I am on Sierra. Yeah, well, so Jigsaw really does have the best DOM. The thing that I really like about Jigsaw, like the one thing it does that nobody else does that is just like, I think, amazing, is context sensitive clicks. So if I come in here and I click on a bid, it's going to put a limit order to buy there. If I come at the same price and click on the offer column, it will put a stop order there. If I click on the best bid, best ask, it will automatically make them market orders. Unless I come in here to this little control and specifically say, instead of auto, I want this to be stop limit, limited, or stop orders, right? And so I can come in and add all of this stuff and manage a position very, very quickly with single clicks in a way that you can't on other platforms. Like on NinjaTrader, for example, if you want it to be a stop order, you have to there's a setting that you have to change, and it's like you can use a middle click to do it, or different platforms have different ways of doing it. And that's kind of the similar thing with the Sierra charts, is that Sierra charts duplicates the Jigsaw functionality pretty well, but it's just not quite as nice. Now, I would say that Sierra charts definitely gets the job done, and like Sierra charts and Jigsaw are the two most common platforms that I see people use. So the two most common platforms that I see everybody use. I hate NinjaTrader. It kept stalling. Well, that's interesting that it would stall your PC. I really think that NinjaTrader has the best charts of the futures trading platforms, but there are problems with it for sure. NinjaTrader 8 was never quite as stable as NinjaTrader 7 was. Even if you come with a new idea, they will be able to copy and paste you. True. But I don't think that they would be able to. I don't think that they would know enough about what's involved in doing all of those things to be able to copy those features. You're talking about something that would be hard to just copy. I don't think that Sierra charts could just say, oh, okay, we're going to add a new component that does the statistical analysis. And there's all of these other pieces that you need specifically with managing the data and everything else that they would have to copy as well. They would be hard for them to copy in their platform. You would need a platform built from the ground up doing it. I don't know. Like the thing is, could I start my own platform and because NinjaTrader is a company with hundreds of employees, I don't think that I would make enough revenue from it for hundreds of employees. But for a small development team to live off of, I think so. You would just need enough money to get them started, basically. But the bigger thing here is that the thing that makes me want to make my own platform isn't just I think I can do better. It's that the platforms that are out there existing can't do the thing that I want to do. So I want to build my own platform from the ground up so that I can do that, so that I can use that tool. But still, to really justify it, I think that I would need to have a few dozen people that are oh, I definitely want your platform. As soon as you put that out, I'll be buying that, right? And I don't think we have that. So I think it goes back on the list, and maybe someday. Same with Sierra charts. Now, it was more interesting, like the difference between YOLO trade equity indexes and backtest momentum strategies. So I wonder how many of the people that have voted for YOLO trade equity indexes, that part of your logic in there is, well, the stream would be a lot more popular if there was more of a focus on ES, because trading ES is more popular. And doing the YOLO trading sort of a thing does work out better. Versus, oh, I really want to see Seth do it because I think I'm going to learn something from it. You know? I see a project called Trade Zella, a trading journal. SaaS got crazy success and beat all old ones, but has a huge marketing campaign. I don't know. You know, well, that's another thing that like kind of comes up to me all the time is there's like a bunch of different people doing like trading journals and stuff like that, which I'm kind of like why? Like, Journalytics is better than any of these other trading journals that I've seen. It's like built into Jigsaw, so I'm not really interested in doing it with them. But like, they have real companies. They're kind of like they're setting like real businesses up. So how did they get started? You know, I guess that's a larger thing. Is that I would really like to run a more serious business. I want to start developing the experience of having employees, dealing with employees, and all of the other parts of owning a business. Like, I own a business, but it's like a super tiny one and it's just me, right? And I want a more serious business. And so I'm always looking for all of these opportunities. Like, oh, okay, is there a place where I can buy a laundromat? Is there a, you know, it doesn't have to be related with trading, but I've never really come across one where I'm like, I could really do this. And when I do have an idea that I think could work, it's like, but I need to convince somebody to jump on board with it, you know, and fund it. So that's the same thing with the hedge fund. That's a really interesting idea to me as well. But how do you start that? There's this really critical skill about raising funds that I don't have. Doing useless Scrum meetings that I hate. You know what? When I go online and I read the things that people comment about things like that, there's two subjects like that. One is Scrum, and the other one is monolith versus microstructure. And the comments that I see from people, I'm always like, what the heck is going on out there in the rest of the industry? Because my experience is nothing like that. Like, I've always viewed the Scrum meetings as like a necessary thing. Sometimes I don't like the way that they're run because I don't feel like that I'm getting the information that I need. But it's like an important factor, you know? And on the microservices versus monolith sort of a thing, because everybody's saying, well, probably don't need microservices. There's like some real advantages to a monolith. And I'm like, I really don't see how you get beyond like 12 teams. You're all supposed to work on the same project. It's just too big of a headache. Like, you have to split it out just for it to be practical to even work on. So what are all of these companies where they're small enough that they don't need microservices architecture? Because that's every company that I've worked at. It would be impractical. They were basically forced to move over to microservices. Because I did work on projects that, you know, helped them move over to microservices. Like pretty much every role I've had. This is weird to me. Well, we got 30 minutes left, and a couple more of you have voted on our poll. If you haven't checked the poll out in chat, check out this is kind of like, what are some things that we would like to focus a little bit more on the stream that would be a little bit different. It looks like right now trading equity indexes is kind of winning, But there's also backtesting momentum strategies, and I kind of think that we could do both to some extent, right? Trade at Zella, that's by Umar. He's made lots of money trading in trucks. Lambos? Oh, okay. As soon as I hear this, some popular figure that is, public on the internet and they're showing off Lambos, I'm immediately like tune out. Like, they might have one. Well, not a Lambo. That's the other thing. If I was going to be that rich, I wouldn't buy a Lambo. I kind of feel like that buying a Lambo is really just to show off. Versus there are some other luxury supercars that are really because you're a car enthusiast. And you don't talk about them. You have one of them, you don't talk about them, you don't show them off. Yeah, where's my Lambo? And yeah, I mean, if I had that much money, I wouldn't buy a Lambo. If I had that much money, I would keep it all in the market. I've seen a lot of things like this where they're like, if you find somebody and they're really rich, but they're still frugal, there's something wrong with them. I don't agree with that at all. If I had significantly more money, I don't think I would change very much at all. I already have everything set up basically the way that I want it. And I would love to have a little bit more cash to, do a couple of little things. But the main reason that I would like to have more cash is so that I have more money to invest. So I wouldn't go and buy an expensive car or any of these luxury things. I would maybe buy nice, maybe upgrade my wardrobe. But I would, to me, the money is more money to play with than learning more about investing. I'd totally keep it in the market too, but I'd sooner get a Lambo before a big list of luxury cars. Just because a brand is luxury doesn't mean certain ones aren't still using cheap plastic. Yeah, well. Like, I could see myself getting, like, a Porsche or something like that. I think if I was going to get really a real luxury vehicle, it would be more likely to be a Porsche. A sports car. That's the other thing. I don't know if I would actually get a sports car. I'd need a bigger garage if I'm going to get a sports car, Like, I would like to have a third car. I've got an Acura. And I would like to get a new car. I think that the new car might be like a Corolla or a Honda Civic or something like that, right? Like, I just want, like, the cheapest car that you could possibly get for my son. Maybe I get myself a luxury car and just give him the Acura, though. Or maybe I get myself a truck or more of a four-wheel vehicle that's better at driving in the snow in the mountains, right? So I'd have three. So then, there's not room for a sports car like a coupe, right? Coupe would have to be a separate thing. So if I was going to get another car, there's a coupe that's like, I just want to be able to drive a fast car and with my commute and all of that sort of stuff. Then maybe a fourth car, right? But I'd need a bigger garage for it, so. I'll just get a Tesla. It comes back to this. I don't know why we keep coming back to this on our stream, but, like, I don't really think that Teslas are that good cars. I remember when the Cybertruck came out, and I was like, actually, that's not too bad. And, like, the price that they're asking, that they want to take it for and everything, like, maybe it's worth getting put on the list. But then, yeah, it didn't do that. And the longer this goes on, the more I'm like, I am so glad I do not have a Cybertruck. More generally, I am against pre-ordering things, I think. Yeah. Every situation I've seen where, like, lots of people pre-order something, it ends up being a terrible product. Like, I've never seen a game where, like, everybody pre-ordered that game and then the game ended up being amazing. I've never seen that before. Pre-order ends up just being a way for them to make money without giving you the product, and then when they give you the product, it's not a good product, but you can't do anything about it because you already bought it. So, you know, going back to our little list here, change, you know, so there's some of these things that are like coming, but maybe later, like the data pipeline, more macroeconomic stuff, and like a Substack. But then there's also like non-finance ideas. Like, I want a laundromat because that's the type of business that tends to work the most, right? I was going to be a video game developer. So, like, if I really find myself with extra time, this keeps going on for months, maybe I should make a game. I could make an Unreal Engine game. I could make a phone game. It's interesting to me to think about, because, you know, everything has been focused on this finance and, like, the things that I can attach to speculator Seth, but there's also this opportunity to just split off and do something completely different. You know, and we've had some, like, during the pandemic, oh my gosh, you would not believe how many of these custom made masks my wife sold. It was crazy. And we learned a lot about running a business with that. Like, one of the problems was it had too many options. And really, to make like an online store for it and everything, you just kind of want to have a couple of options. And then like issues about scaling it and all of that. Like, I learned a lot from that. I wanted to do more things like that. Little concerned about how much the 5 years come back here on this latest pullback. Tesla owners need to keep their cars hidden in the garage after the election. Dude, it's so wild to me. It's interesting you bring that one up, Lewis, because you're totally hitting on something that's happening. These people just absolutely abhor Elon Musk. It's so wild to me to see the shift over the past 10 years or so. Because in the beginning, it was kind of like, well, I don't really know who Elon Musk is, but there's a group of people that are really super into it. And it seemed to me that the people in the beginning that there were the really big Elon Musk fans were kind of liberal-minded people. Am I wrong? And then there was that whole thing with the kids in the cave that turned a couple of people. And then 2020 came along and he changed politically. And now all of a sudden it is everybody's out to get Elon Musk. The one that's the wildest to me is all of these people I see on Reddit and so forth. And they're like the one that we were talking about yesterday. Oh, there was a class war and we lost it. And I'm like, what? Oh, because they think that it's the billionaires and Donald Trump against everybody else is the way that they see it. They don't see it as all of the working class people are voting for Donald Trump because the working class people are being hurt by these globalist policies that only benefit the very, very rich. So I see it as like the exact opposite. It's so wild to me. And so Elon Musk being a part of the Trump campaign is just kind of like, to them, that confirmation bias that they need to support the idea that the billionaires are just trying to hold this all down, and by buying Donald Trump. It's so insane to me. It seems so insane to me, but I guess I understand why people come down into that. Leftist leaning people really are always looking for, you know, that rich person to dogpile on, you know? Elon's political switch, leaving a bunch of Dems and the like being the ones with the cars from the guy they hate now, is hilarious. Yeah. Yes, and again, like, Teslas aren't that good of cars. They really aren't. So crazy to me. Man. So I was looking, this has got me thinking about this. So, you know, like, the thing that I'm thinking about right now is, okay, why did Donald Trump win so handedly? Because you might make the argument, well, maybe they weren't really voting for Donald Trump. Maybe, by and large, like, all other things being equal, it was just that Kamala Harris was such a terrible candidate. Like, you could say Kamala Harris was a terrible candidate. You could say that Kamala Harris ran a terrible campaign. Those are two separate things, right? One is, you know, the candidate that you had just wasn't very good, and two, the decisions that they made and the way that the campaign ran. Maybe you had a good candidate, but the campaign failed them, right? You could just say that the Democrat Party overall has kind of screwed it up because of Joe Biden. So that's a third reason. Yeah, 20 million votes vanished. And you know, again, we've brought this up a couple of times today, actually. I wanted to see an analysis of that. Like, which counties were those votes coming from? What were the rules set up in those that might account for that change? Because 20 million really seems like a really dramatic change. But it also does kind of suggest that, like, they just didn't like the Democrat candidate. But what would be the counter information on that? Well, how is it that Republicans have such an advantage? That the 55 vote majority in the Senate, meaning, you know, it's going to be 55 to 45. They're taking the House. All of these sorts of things. Right? How do you explain Donald Trump did better by like 10-point margins compared to 2020 in even deep blue areas of the country? That even in places like the Bronx, New York, that there's 45% of people that are Trump supporters there. In a place where we all kind of thought that it was like 95% Democrat, right? How do you explain Donald Trump doing better among key demographic groups that everybody thought should hate him? Like, you know, he's pushing on the illegal immigration issue. Shouldn't Hispanics hate him? But he has improved his standing among Hispanics substantially. How do you explain that? Well, somebody here on Reddit was arguing with me, and here's what they said. I'm with you on the Dems not giving voters the candidate they want, but I think you're overestimating the size of the shift and underestimating the role of Fox News in disinformation. My aunt and several other people I know voted for Trump because Kamala can barely put together a sentence. Well, but she can barely put together a sentence. That's beyond absurd and clearly untrue. But because all they really saw are deceptively edited Fox News clips, it seems like she could barely speak until we prevent news outlets from being global leaders in disinformation. Doesn't matter what shifts happen with the electorate, the right will be able to portray their opponent any way that they want that helps them win. So the big hope that Democrats are coming up with after all of this is, well, Fox News. Which is just so hilarious to me. I really don't think that explains the numbers that we get in. Let me tell you, here's what I think is really going on. Because you think that it's all Fox News? I think that the typical liberals' view of what an average conservative, or moderate for that matter, the news media that they consume is really distorted. They have this idea that it's like you get home from work and then the first thing that you do is you turn on Hannity and that's where you're getting all your information from. It's total bullshit, dude. It's total nonsense. The reason why so many conservatives turn to outlets, I wouldn't even say like Fox News, but like alternative news outlets now, is because these are people that spend a lot of time watching CNN, MSNBC, the main news outlets, and reading stories from all over the place, and they don't like what they're seeing. They can see problems with the media that is pushed on them all the time. You come on Reddit, almost every piece of information that you saw on Reddit for the past 3 months or whatever it's been has been how amazing Kamala Harris is. So this idea that they've just been disinformed, I think, is so ridiculous, because they're seeing all of the same information that you are, and then they're getting the conservative news sources on top of that. So the idea, no, what's going on is that they can very clearly see that the reality, that the picture that is painted by the mainstream news outlets does not match up with the reality that they see in their daily lives. That's what's going on. The news networks are saying that the economy is super, super great. And meanwhile, they're looking at it like, yeah, I know some guy, he lost his job. He can't find a job. He's been looking for months. It's absolutely crazy job market. Go and look at the jobs numbers from last month. Anybody that still thinks that this economy is like a great roaring economy, you're really delusional, man. You've really lost the plot, because the data does not support that. The data is really coming into, okay, like on some top line measures, there are some nice things about it, but there are some problems in this economy, some really big problems in this economy that are causing a very large swath of America to be unhappy with their lives. Like they're not starving, but things are, they're not very comfortable right now. Things are really tight. Things are really, really tight. And then what do they see? All of the money that I spend on the government is spending more money on taxes than ever before. And a huge swath of this is going to dealing with illegal immigration, something that shouldn't even be happening. Why am I paying for that? And a big portion of it is going to Ukraine, a war that it kind of seems like isn't going to work out. Why am I spending money on that? Right? So what it really is the 3 planks of the Make America Great Again / America First platform. Illegal immigration, or let's say open border policies, trade with China, and government corruption. And these people, they can see it. They can see it happening. They think that it is negatively affecting their lives. And then when they come and they point it out and they say, hey, we shouldn't be doing this. Let's not do this policy. Let's not do this policy. It hurts me. And then they're told, well, no, you're just racist. That's what's going on. It's not because they've been brainwashed, man. It's because they can see it in their daily lives, man. So it's wild to me that this is the narrative that a lot of people are going with. I'm going to reply to this person on Reddit probably after this, but good grief. Chris Howron? Okay, let's go put it on the list. I'll look into it. There we go. Space B interview ideas. Chris Howron. Author. One of the top selling online MBA course. Am I getting the right guy? He has a YouTube, it looks like. let's look here. It's a decently large channel. Videos. What do we got? How will AI impact finance? It sounds like his channel is kind of general business, huh? Fund investing. It does sound why day trading does not work. Oh, yeah. Maybe I've seen this guy before. I don't know. I don't know if he's like direct enough that it would, like, how interested would you guys be in an interview with this guy? I don't know if you actually would be. Oh, we'll put him on. We'll put it on the list. Lewis Hill is saying Tom Alexander. Oops. Right. You should interview ICT, says a likely Thacker. Dude, you don't want me. Listen, here's the thing. I saw this video the other day where there was some girl, I think it was, she was like an influencer on some subject. And she's one of those people that kind of has a lot of trouble with people taking her seriously because she's a woman. And they're like, you're just a poser, sort of a thing. And there was somebody that was really giving them shit. I think that this was like not an OnlyFans girl, but one of those girls that is primarily getting through on like cosplay and stuff like that, I think is what it was. And there was somebody that was like making videos and trashing her in videos and stuff. And there was some sort of a conference or whatever. And so she met this person in person, and the person didn't say anything. They kept quiet. They were too afraid to confront her in person, right? That's not me. That's not me. If we were in a situation like I will sometimes, the idle visions that I have in my head. Oh, I go to a trader conference and there's a panel and ICT is on the panel and he's going to say something. I'm going to call him out. Nope, that's total bullshit. Here's why this is wrong. Here's all the evidence that we have to prove that this is wrong. You're a complete fraud. I would not hold back. The way that I am is I can't help myself. I mean, you can see it here on the stream, even on some of these things where I'm kind of like, we got to be careful talking about election fraud, other things, because there's disinformation, opinions that I might have might not be completely backed up by evidence. That's just kind of my intuition. I can't prove them. So I got to be careful about what I say about those things, right? And yet, it comes through. It's the ADHD. It's like if something's on my mind, I can't help but say something about it. So don't try and pair me up with some of these influencers that I don't like. If I'm doing an interview with Trades by, because I kind of want to do it with Trades by Matt, or in Mom Trading, I'm not so hot on him. But, I'm going to bring up, I don't think that you should have affiliate links for funded trader programs, and I don't support those programs. I'm not going to be able to help myself but bring it up. I'm going to try and play nice, but I know what's going to happen, You will like Tom says live action? Okay, well, we'll look him up in a second. A-Paul says Zero Hedge put up a new fun story at 9:30 if you haven't seen it. That might bring some funny drama of why some of the celebrity lies happened. Oh boy, I don't know if I wanted to if that's something I should really dig into, man. Live Action says, I saw an interview with the educator paying for his guest, and the guest spent the entire time calling him out. That's crazy. There's something else that I would think would be interesting. That, again, so I don't want to be paired. There are some of these people that I've had conflict with in the past, and I'm not going to give them airtime, right? So like ICT, I just don't talk about them. Stop talking about him. He'll go away. People will stop watching and he'll go away. The reason that he's so popular is he creates all of this drama. Probably I should be more, like there's been times where people have criticized me. I probably should have come out like fighting, and that probably would have made me more popular, but whatever. I kind of, I don't think that really helps the stream. But, people trying to call me out because it's like, well, you don't even take trades and, you're not necessarily profitable. These are all true things. I'm not coming on here and saying you should follow me because I'm an amazing trader that has made a ton of money with this. I've had years where I make money, but I don't make money with it every year. I think that given that I don't really have the opportunity to really take on risk anymore, it looks like this year is going to be an unprofitable year. I probably could have pulled it out before the end of the year, but it doesn't look like that's going to happen because I would have to take a lot more trades, and I don't want to take trades right now. Well, we're in this situation where money's tight. And I'm not telling people, I'm kind of like outright saying probably you shouldn't day trade. Like some of you guys are obsessed with it, like me, and you really have a genuine interest in the subject, then do it. But otherwise, you probably shouldn't because you're probably going to lose money, right? So I kind of find it funny and amusing because I get this on Reddit all the time. They'll say, "Oh, you have a YouTube channel. You must be one of those influencers that's trying to scam everybody." I'm like, you obviously don't watch my channel because I'm constantly talking about that. Like, hey, I'm not saying that I make tons of money and you should follow what I'm doing. I'm kind of saying that it's not a very good gig. Here's the information that we have that we know is proven. That's backed up by empirical evidence. Tom doesn't believe you can keep up with the order flow with mini scalps. He had an old timer in the game, or he is an old timer in the game, and he likes bar charts with a market profile approach. Yeah, but is he gonna promote specific setups? Okay, sorry, you mentioned him. I haven't looked him up yet. I need to make like you know what? I set this up. I don't know where I saved the link, but I did all of the work to make like a financial influencer tier list, but I never went through with it. Tom Alexander. Which is him. Tom, well, that's music. This must be, well, okay. So I'm no offense, live action, but I'm already seeing warning signs. Oh, you're going to achieve financial freedom. It's probably bullshit. Videos. Caspa, so it's cryptocurrency stuff? This can't be the same guy. This must not be the guy you're talking about, because there's only 10 videos. That's only 10 videos. It must not be that channel, huh? Channel. Or maybe he's somewhere else. Lewis Hill says that's not him. Well, I don't really see any other options though. AlexanderTrading.com. Twitter. Is he not a YouTuber? There's Alexander Trading LLC. Is it him? That's a teeny tiny channel though, if that's him. There you go. That's a me. Well, he's an older guy. Is that him? Lewis says yes. And And it looks like all of his content is like live streams. Auction market profile. Yeah, but I mean, I'm not really a fan of the market profile though. So if you could, here's the thing. I don't know if I really have the interest to like go and dig through. Can you show me a video where he shows statistical information collected over a 5-year time period or more that shows an actual edge with the market profile? So what I've seen is it seems like there is something to the market profile. Like when you get the profile and it shows a Gaussian distribution, that's kind of weird. That's something that we should be able to explain. It might not necessarily mean that there's an edge, but it does mean that we're seeing something interesting that we can learn from. My video about improving volume profile is meant to explain why that happens. And some of the flaws with auction theory. Man, my voice is really starting to go. Is that better? That better? Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, you just did exactly what I said. State of misconception. Yeah. So, it probably comes in, like my immediate gut reaction is they're probably well-meaning, but I don't see any evidence that they're really giving people real proven information. Some of these other people that you talked about, well, they're not in the trading space, but they are business, and it looks like they're providing good content. Yeah, market profile is nothing more than a charting method. Yeah, and I guess the question is, are there setups, objective setups that we can identify with market profile that we can show an edge over a 5-year time period? Because what I think, and again, this goes back to the platform thing. The problem is that the platforms that currently exist and are available to retail traders do not provide you the tools to be able to really prove these kinds of ideas. Like my value, this a whole thing that's like, if you open up below yesterday's value area low, then there's a 60% chance that you're going to trade back to the previous day's point of control. Is that really actually true? So what I had to do is I had to mine all of this data, cache it, because your trading platform doesn't provide you that data, create an indicator that allows you to put it in there, and then do the backtest over a 5-year time period. And guess what? It doesn't work. If we had a platform that had all of this stuff built into it from the very beginning, retail traders wouldn't be interested in these methods that don't have any proven efficacy. Yeah, he says many people are making market profile something that it isn't. Okay, man, he's been around for a long time too. He's older than our channel, isn't it? 10 years. Does he have a video to that point? I don't really see a channel. I don't really see a video like that. Dumb trading oscillators will destroy you. That's probably true. He's selling trading courses, of course. Purchase course here. How much is it? I'm going to see the price and just absolutely flip out, huh? Sign up now. I want to sign up now. Okay. $1,500. That's not crazy. That's not crazy. Some of the courses that I've seen YouTube influencers pushing is really like, holy crap, guys, really? I'm kind of like, I probably could make a course, but it would just be like the videos I've already given you guys. This is the thing that's so mind-boggling to me is like, I think that I have the best order flow training available to the public. I really do. I share with you information about order flow that you will not find anywhere else on the internet. Unless you're reading like archive.org. Right. And I provide it completely for free. And it seems to me that I could take those 6 or 7 videos and turn it into a course and sell it for $1,000, and I'd only need to get like 10 people a month to do it, and I would, be able to live off of that. Probably. Aaron Corbs, he charges $12K. Wow, really? I haven't been... Aaron Corbs is another one of those guys that seems... He seems... genuine to me, but he's probably a little bit naive in certain aspects. One proven method. Here we go. Yeah, like when I come onto this website like this, I was like, no, thank you. Okay, how we get $10,000 to $15,000 a month in 2024 while trading only 2 to 4 hours per day and focusing on one proven method. And you can get this video. Okay, well, they're listing it for only $27 or something like that. Okay, but here's the thing. If I go and I look at every person that has ever watched this video from you, how much money per month from trading do they make? And I'm going to bet you that hardly any of them make money from trading. But in order for you to be able to say this, it's basically like your average customer has to be making $10,000 to $15,000 a month. In other words, this is almost certainly an FTC violation that you could get sued by the FTC for. I think that he's just going off of, he's learned all of the stuff about marketing and he's doing the things that the marketers tell him to do. He doesn't realize that this is an FTC violation. And if anybody tells him, he's probably going to ignore it because he's making money from it, right? Yeah, so maybe he is genuine, but in order for me to do anything with him, he'd have to get rid of that. You can't put numbers like that in your marketing materials. And if he has he doesn't really have a whole lot else on here, interestingly enough. Join now, for instance, access. I remember there being like I just need to scroll down more. Here you go. Okay. Customer testimonials. I'm already more profitable than when I started it. That one is kind of on the edge of is that allowed? Okay, he's easy to understand and gives you the instructions. That's good. You can have a testimonial like that on your website. Yeah, most of the rest of these are okay. So maybe when I told him this, because he emailed me and I told him this. But this thing, Corbs, dude, you can't have that. Unless your average customer is making $10,000 to $15,000 a month, you can't have that on your website. That's going to cause problems. Like if you wanted to become a Ninja Trader ecosystem partner, for instance, they would tell you have to take that off of your website before they would let you become an ecosystem partner. Because they could get in trouble if you put that on your website. It's crazy stuff, but just saying, man. The The one when I was saying like some of the prices that people charge on trading courses is ridiculous. I was thinking about Humboldt traders. What do they got going on right now? It's been a while since I checked them out, but this was one of the people that like she just absolutely took off during the pandemic. She's got 1.27 million subscribers now. Really is one of the biggest people in our space now. Let's look at her full videos. Okay, she has a routine in swing trading. So first of all, she's doing the thing that I hate. She's doing the thing that I hate, man. You put a number there. Unless the average viewer of this YouTube channel is going to make $200,000 a month from swing trading from watching your video, or heck, even if the average viewer is going to make money from the swing trading, this is an FTC violation. Nobody's probably ever going to sue you for it because even at 1.27 million subscribers, it seems like the FTC doesn't care enough about what's going on YouTube. It's like YouTube has to do something about it. I'm surprised that YouTube allows stuff like this, but you shouldn't do this. I will never do this. I've had people, they're like, you need to do this. This is what's going to get you views, Seth. You're competing with these people. They're putting the big numbers on. You got to put the big number to compete. I will never do this. It's illegal. Okay, but what we came here to check out is she has a course, doesn't she? Day trade with the community. Here's the stock scanner that she uses. Follow her investment portfolio on Blossom. What's this? I've never heard of this. Let's check this out. Oh wait, here we go. Okay, where's the performance? I'm not seeing it. You know what, Blossom, I'm not too impressed. I want to see what she owns. Good grief. Good grief. No, you don't have to say that you made that much, but you could have. It's possible that she could have, but unless your average viewer is duplicating those results, the FTC can go after you. It's deceptive advertising. You cannot take the best performance and present that as what most people will achieve from doing this. Because the reality is that like probably 100 people bought it and only one of them made money from it. Okay, but she has a day trading community now. Count me in. The Academy, blah, 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 blah. Okay, well, so she's smart enough to not have any of the things that'll get you in trouble. Does she have a Discord? Oh, here we go. $9.90 a year? So what is that a month? $9.90 divided by 12. $82 a month? Is that insane? Except for that all of the oh man. Okay, so you get the Academy options course, strategy course, and live execution videos. All of this stuff that would actually be valuable and make it worthy of doing a month-to-month subscription. Like live remarket trading, text commentary, watch list, swing trading chat room, all of these things that matter are with complimentary access for 3 months. And to get it longer term, you have to apply. How much is it? How much is it? Of course, all of the top links for this will be from her. Business Insider. Whoa, wait, what? Business Insider made an article, the best day trading courses of 2024? You've got to be kidding me. Okay, what do they got? Bear Bull Traders, Warrior Trading. Oh my gosh. Yeah, let's put at the top of our list the guy that just got sued by the FTC for their deceptive advertising. My gosh, guys. Oh, man. I swear, I remember there being like Humble Trader having a course that you could just buy, and it was like multi-$1,000, and everybody started turning on her. Maybe she changed that. While learning, I would look at trades breaking previous highs and lows and hope for a day runner. Oh, but we've done that before. We've done that, right? Like, okay, so if you come onto a single instrument and you say, we have broken the daily high and we have broken like a 90-minute high, which means that you have to be breaching into new prices that haven't been touched for like 90 minutes or more or something, you know, a certain amount of time. And then you buy at the high, does it continue through? And on a single instrument, it wasn't profitable. If you do it as a swing trading strategy across multiple instruments, then it is profitable over a pretty long time period, but there's a lot of other factors involved in that, and it hasn't performed very well since the pandemic. That's why here on, by the way, how is our poll coming out? You guys really want me to YOLO trade equity indexes, guys? You really want me to trade equity indexes, huh? Well, okay, because it seems like they've increased their lead. But this is why we want to backtest momentum strategies, is like, can we develop a better strategy that doesn't have those problems? Let's see here. Warrior Trading is another big one. He's been debunked. I think it was $1,800 or so. Yeah, you know, like to me, like $1,000 to $2,000 for a trading course would be reasonable, except for that I don't think that the content that they're going to get is going to be worth that much. When we start getting into tens of thousands of dollars, it's kind of like, man. I'm not saying that just because it's $10,000 that it's a scam or anything, but some of the courses that I've heard about put out there, it's kind of like people really regret spending that much money. Also, by the way, I should know, I haven't, all of that testing, that is on futures, because futures have a propensity to trend. Don't know what it would be for stocks. After she spoke to Lance Breinstein, she got herself verified at Kinfo and is advocating for transparency. Well, but you know what? I'm a little bit skeptical of the Kinfo thing, to be honest with you. Like, so first of all, I've got two problems with it. Okay, first of all, just because somebody has been profitable in the past does not mean that they will be profitable in the future, and it does not mean that you will be able to duplicate their success. That's the first thing. That's the big thing. Past performance is not indicative of future results. And I feel that when we push this idea that people's past profits need to be verified and everything else like that, we are leading people into that logical fallacy that past performance is indicative of future results. So I always I don't think that the performance matters. I don't think that your personal performance, like what you actually did with your trading, matters. What I care about is, can you prove it empirically? Like, do you have a back test that I can run myself to show, and that I can go and take it and put it on a different data set to show if it really holds up? I can continue to forward test it, That's what I would care about if you really want to show performance. The second issue is that you're really just giving a large company a lot of data. You're giving a large company a lot of data that they can use to see what all of the different retail traders are doing. You remember when that was happening at NinjaTrader and people were using what the most popular NinjaTrader retail positions were to determine what to go and short next? So I'm a little bit skeptical of Kinfo in general because of that as well. I saw there's a guy on the day trading subreddit that is like one of the moderators or whatever, and he had a Kinfo thing that was like multiple years of profitability that looked impressive, but there was kind of all these other things about it, like is he doing stocks, all these sorts of things. Again, you might not be able to duplicate his results. Yep, Citadel was buying all of Robinhood's order flow. Well, what Citadel was doing was like even way worse, because they were basically, they weren't just saying, show me what these retail traders are doing. He was saying, you send all of the orders to us and we'll decide, we'll fill them. Or we reserve the right to pass on it to some orders we just want to pass to the market because we don't want to take the other side of that trade. And they get to basically decide whether they want to take it or not when they see it. That's so messed up. I can't believe that was ever allowed. But they changed those rules, didn't they? So, whatever. Like, this is one of those things with stocks, is like, man, we really gone over today, by the way. Come on. Clear out. I've seen a lot of things about stocks that kind of suggests to me that there might be more opportunity for a retail trader to make money from trading stocks. Biggest advantage being that you have a ton of different instruments to trade, and you can use screeners and other methods to decide what you're going to trade, so that you can always be trading in an environment that is conducive to whatever your edge is, right? Like, there are times where with our order flow, especially when you get a market that is relatively has a reasonable amount of momentum, but not too much momentum, in the treasury market, for instance, you just buy and hold it, and it's the easiest trade in the world, right? Well, what if you could trade that every day? Well, you potentially could in stocks. But then there's all these caveats. You have to have a larger account to be able to do it in stocks because of the pattern day trading rule. You don't actually get to see the actual order flow. You can buy it, but most of the time you're not seeing the actual order flow. Your orders aren't going directly to the exchange. There's still this crazy system, wherein things get filled and everything. It's not a system where all of the orders go to the exchange like it is in futures. So it's like not as fair of a game. I really don't think that backtesting is stupid. I mean, like, the whole thing here is like, okay, underlying conditions are different every day. Can you quantitatively express or detect those conditions and know what they're going to be before it happens? And if yes, you can go and you can do a quantitative backtest. But like, here's the thing, is if you have a technical setup, let's just use an example from Volume Profile, because I know that Volume Profile is going to be popular, especially among my audience, right? One of the setups that they talk about in the Mind Over Markets book is, if we open up below the previous day's value area low, then there's a strong chance that we will trade back to the previous day's point of control, that we will return back into that value area and then go back to the point of control. And if we don't, there's a strong chance that it's going to be a trend day. So back in the day when Stottlemyre and all of these guys were kind of pioneering volume profile, the technology and everything wasn't necessarily there for them to be able to backtest these sorts of things. The technology is there now, although the trading platforms don't have the stuff, but you're smart enough, like me, because I'm super smart. We have a way to backtest it. We can go and we can do that setup. I backtested that setup. It doesn't work. So then you would say, okay, well, but it does work. It's just that you need to understand all of this context and all of these other things. Well, if there's not any efficacy in it when you use it purely on its own, why would the efficacy of it change in relation to some other variable? You're just kind of taking it on faith that it does work. It's just you have to put in all of these other factors. Maybe, I mean, if you could prove, like, maybe you traded for 5 years and you were profitable over that 5-year time period and that's what you were doing, right? You know what I would be saying? I would say, how do you know that the edge is that volume profile and not everything else that you know about the market? Maybe you would still be profitable simply because of what you know about the market and your news sources and all of those other advantages that you have. And the volume profile thing has absolutely nothing to do with your success. But backtesting is the only way that we can empirically prove a setup. All these momentum funds, they're doing backtesting. And I think one of the, I do see this thing amongst retail traders. I think it's so funny. It's like, okay, you like this area. Yeah, Mind Over Markets is outdated. Both Dalton and Tom say that. Yeah, they do. No, they totally do. You're right, Lewis. Like this is this is my understanding of it, is that they wrote the book and then Jim Dalton got together with some other guy and basically did backtesting and so forth with it and found that it wasn't really very effective, and he stopped using it. But it became so popular, people wanted, kept asking him to come and do stuff and do webinars and all of these things. So he said, fine, I will come and I will teach it to you. And so he comes and he teaches you something that kind of outdated and doesn't really help you. That's my understanding of it. There's so many variables that must be taken into account that will give a percent lean that is nebulous. Well, but again, how are you able to prove that all of those factors combine together? Like, so here's the thing. So like when you look at Renaissance Technologies, okay, Renaissance Technologies, they come in and they look at the market and they see momentum. They say, oh, okay, well, with commodities, at least it used to be the case, the commodities had this tendency to trend over very long periods of time. So if you just get yourself in line with the trend, you can make money pretty easily. That means market's not perfectly efficient. So then they started going in and really diving into the data, and they kept finding all of these little oddities, all these little statistical things that were like, hey, this is not what an efficient market should do. We have found an inefficiency in the market. And I'm getting this from like interviews that Jim Simmons did, right? I think you guys have probably seen the one that I'm talking about. And what does he say? So what every one of these things on their own are tiny little things. But it turns out that when you combine like 100 of them together, you get something that is pretty decently predictive. Okay. So what they did was they took things that showed a statistical edge on their own, and then they combined a bunch of them together. So that implies, though, that you can prove that there's an edge to that single thing. So if you go and you do the back test, then there's not an edge to that single thing. What makes you think that combining it with something else will suddenly provide edge? Especially if you're combining it in with something else that there's no way that you can actually prove it, because now it's too discretionary. It's too discretionary and complicated for you to objectively backtest it. Why would you believe in that? I don't understand this. This comes up all the time, and I don't understand why you guys believe in those things. Well, the turtle trader is exactly what I'm talking about. They were trading momentum. They were swing traders. They were swing traders trading momentum. I love it when you guys bring up the turtle traders, because what the turtle traders are doing was fundamentally different to what basically all retail traders are doing. And there's kind of some evidence to suggest that their strategy doesn't work anymore. Got too popular, the edge of it disappeared. And the thing is like, especially in the psychology portion of the market, like everything that they taught you about psychology comes from the turtle traders. Well, yeah, because the psychology of holding a position for weeks and weeks and weeks, and a position that's actually going against you quite a bit, and having pretty serious deviation in your returns, and just sticking with it, is very, very different from the psychology involved in a retail day trader scalping. Right? Like it's a different thing when you have this fund and you know your fund is going to implode and all of your investors are going to leave. It's a different game. Most people aren't going to make it through that. But I still, like, my position is, if something has an edge to it, you should be able to show that there's some edge to it statistically. Like, at the very least, that we can show that there's a behavior in the markets. Like, you might not have a setup for it, but we can prove that it's an actual behavior. That's a behavior that maybe you can use and it could benefit your trading. But if you don't have any kind of information like that, I say that you just ignore it, because otherwise you're just trading on faith. You really have absolutely no clue whether it works or not. And you're just going to go from method to method to method, never really having success with it. You're wasting your time. I think that we only have so much time. You got to be more strategic with it. Only, so there's got to be some method, some way of you determining this thing is worth me putting my time into and this thing is not. And I say that thing that you need to have is the empirical evidence that there's something there. Yeah, my sister's friends with a hedge fund manager, and he manages billions, and he told me that day trading does not work. Well, of course. I mean, in my opinion, generally speaking, day trading doesn't work. Like, I'm not saying that you can't have success, and I'm not saying that it's, like, not worth pursuing. But I am saying this idea that you're going to come in and you're going to make a living from day trading and all of that sort of stuff, don't bother. But, of course, you have to understand that the hedge funds and all of these other guys, they're doing something fundamentally different. So why would they know? If there was an edge that a retail trader could gain, it would make them money in the market. The hedge funds aren't going to know about it. They'd be the last ones to know, because they're playing a completely different game. I've gone 30 minutes over, guys. I'm going to go and lay down, I think. Tomorrow, stay excellent.